How's it going, fighters? This is Shamar the Dragon Fox,
And this is Pharaoh, ready to go.
and welcome back to True North Fighters. This is going to be kind of a continuation of the previous episode. This will be 19B. Just because I wasn't here last time, and all we really got was a bunch of tournament coverage. So this kind of leans into more news stuff and our usual discussion topics. As you may have noticed, Wolf is not here. He is dealing with some family stuff right now. So you get me and Pharaoh for this episode, and we'll hopefully Wolf will be back next week. Anyway, so we have a decent amount of news to go through from this past week or two. So to start us off, so we have a bunch of new Dragon Ball news for you guys. So first off, we have the Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. They're starting a whole new future saga, and Chapter 1, they just released a trailer not too long ago, and it looks like we are going to get a rendition, a Xenoverse rendition of the future saga from Dragon Ball Super, where we have the whole Zamatsu arc. Now, Pharaoh, you saw the trailer, right?
Of course I did. Of course I did. I have to say, the game looked fantastic. Even for someone like myself who isn't really all that well versed in the Dragon Ball universe.
Yes, I'll have to agree with you there because I remember looking at old footage of Xenoverse 2. You know, like the graphics hadn't really aged all that well in my opinion, but it seems like they got a major facelift in the last little while, and now they're just chugging through some new super some new Dragon Ball Super content. So honestly, I haven't played Xenoverse myself. I don't know a whole lot about Xenoverse to be honest. I know it's kind of similar. Like it's in the same vein to the Tenkaichi series. So um, I can only imagine how thrilled fans are going to be that they're going to be able to get the newer storylines in this older game, which has been going on for I think like over a decade now. Like this game has been around for quite a while.
It's got to have its dedicated fan base, right?
Yeah,
Considering
yes,
it's been
it
around
does.
this long.
Yeah, it definitely does, and the fact that it's still getting support by the creators is just absolutely crazy.
Oh, of course.
And not only Xenoverse, but Sparking Zero got a new trailer. We have now gotten our first peek at some fusion characters. So we had Goten and kind of young Trunks and their Gotenks form. We got a good look at that. And of course, we got one of my favorite duo from the Dragon Ball franchise. We got Caulifla and Kale and their fusion and form of Kefla. And then, of course, obviously, we got the usual go-tos for Dragon Ball fusions in Vegito and Gogeta, which they brought in like the Super Saiyan Blue forms, which I'm gonna say right now, Pharaoh, that I think of all the characters in the Dragon Ball universe now that have gone Super Saiyan Blue, I think the fusions definitely make it look the best.
Yes, the only one thing I must ask you, at least, is how do you think with the fusions and all, I'm assuming this is a duos game. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Not so much. From what I've seen, it's basically like a one character game. So I get the feeling that they kind of gave us a bit of a double feature with this trailer. In is they kind of brought in like the separate characters that make up the fusion characters as their own characters, and then they'll have like the fusion characters as like their own character slots. So I don't think there's gonna be any like actual fusion mechanics in game because
Is
we've seen some fusion characters in the older Tenkaichi games, and they didn't really have a whole like fusing together mechanic mid battle. So I doubt that's going to be the case here.
oh, that's a little bit disappointing. Honestly, if they had a little fusion mechanic, I would be very surprised.
Yeah, I think it would be a really good change. Like I like the way that most fighting games are going with like the whole like at least having a tag team aspect to it. Like again, we go back to 2XKO with their tag team mechanic. I think if Sparking Zero brought in a team mechanic and they could actually do a fusion mechanic mid bout, I think that would be a really cool like just like not even like a whole gameplay thing, but just like a cinematic thing. I think that would be a big improvement to the game overall.
Now you make a fair point. Oh, we should also not forget. Regarding Dragon Ball Sparkling Zero, apparently they're going to be showing this off at the Summer Game Fest.
Yes, they did give us a to be continued at Summer Game Fest at the end of that Fusion trailer. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they bring to the table when we see them next in the Game Fest. I like we still have at least half, if not more, of the roster to get through before they actually have the entire thing revealed and can thus like viably release the game like within the next year or so. So there's going to be a lot of speculation around that as to like who's going to be shown next. Honestly, like it could be anyone at this point. Like we got some serious left fielders, some really deep cuts in terms of characters. Like we got like there were definitely some lesser known characters from the Tournament of Power arc from the Dragon Ball Super series that got in there. So it's honestly anyone's guess as far as who will actually get into this roster. Although I think it's fair to say that most of the DBZ characters are going to get in just based on how absolutely massive that this roster is. Even if you take into account all the different slots for the different forms, I think we're still going to get a good smattering of characters from across the Dragon Ball franchise.
Whew. And it's probably approaching Smash Brothers numbers of character slots, right?
Oh, I'm pretty sure this is going to like blow Smash Bros out of the water. Like Smash Bros Ultimate had a good run with like what they had like 75 characters or so.
Something like that.
Yeah, this I'm pretty sure. Last we checked, it's gonna have over 100. So
Oh
this is
boy.
easily gonna beat Smash Bros levels of roster size.
We also shouldn't forget the Summer Game Fest, actually, for at least at the time of this recording, it's only happening in about 5 days on Friday at the end of the week.
Yes, that is going to be a major event, and we will do our best to get as much coverage of that for you guys and give you our thoughts once we have all the news to be had with that event. So look forward to that. Anyway, moving on. Farah, I believe you have a bunch of both multiverses and some general Warner Brothers news to give to us.
Yes, yeah, I'm sure we all know that the relaunch of Multiverses just occurred on May 28th, and it has, at least it is as of this recording, it is June the 2nd. But as of right now, the fan base is admittedly divided over the news, over the release of Multiverses.
Which is fair. Like, given that the beta was out for so long, like fans have been on that bus, that have been on that wagon for a while, they're going to be very used to that whole system of play, and based on how much has changed with the official version, it makes sense that there's going to be some division between those who are more attached to the beta and those who are more open to the change of the official release.
That would be correct, though there is has been a pretty significant number of changes that are really not pleasing in a significant portion of the player base.
Hmm.
Now,
And what would those be that specifically are causing people to go up in arms?
some of the game modes that were in the beta are no longer present.
Oh
One,
shoot!
a notable one being no more co-op versus AI, which
Well,
is
dang.
a practical staple of fighting games since the dawn of time.
Yeah, like with any fighting game, you have to have a versus CPU version for those of us who either don't have an internet connection or just aren't good enough to go up against people online, or who just don't have friends in the real world to do couch co-op. So yeah, having a CPU option is definitely a necessity for fighting games at this point. So yeah, I'm kind of shocked they didn't put that in.
Yeah. And well, speaking of offline play, that's no longer available either.
Oh come
I
on,
have to say
that's just
that's a really
stupid.
big, it's a big misstep.
That's just stupid. Honestly, like we all love our couch co-op and getting to banter with our friends as we fight each other. Like that's just a staple of part of platform fighters in general. Like not just Smash Bros, but just like any sort of platform fighter. Like you love the couch banter when you're beating up on your friends with your favorite characters. So yeah, that's just honestly that's just sad to me.
Yeah, oh, trust me. Apparently, there's also camera issues. I thought video games in the 3D video games in the late 90s and maybe the early to mid 2000s, I thought that would have been a thing of the past. But I guess not.
Yeah, even these days we still have camera issues. Like it doesn't seem to matter the genre. Like somehow somewhere some game is always going to have camera issues, unfortunately, and that's just unfortunate that multiverses is a victim of that.
Yeah, and well, we all know what the blight of fighting games. At least recently, the Battle Pass. Well,
Yes, that monstrosity.
it's in this game too.
Honestly, not surprising at this point. But like any game that is multiplayer these days is kind of battle passy. So I guess this is kind of par for the course at this point. Wish it wasn't there, but it is what it is. I guess.
Yeah, and if that isn't to make it anything worse, you get a reward of some sort after you finish a match. Like obviously with Tekken and Street Fighter, you get experience. I'm pretty
Right.
sure through a match, and if the Super Smash Brothers, you get your little coins.
Right. And
Well,
yeah, like you get experience on characters, or you get like in-game currency to buy new stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Well, in this game, they kind of took that away, and you only gain Battle Pass experience through completing challenges.
So they basically took away half of the incentive to actually go and play the game.
Pretty much.
Wow. Okay. Well done, Warner Brothers. You are expertly systematically tearing your own game apart. That is
They're
mm,
already getting torn up enough over Mortal Kombat, and then well, they decide to come and take multiverses and decide to turn the whole game on its head.
yeah. They're not doing themselves any favors at this point. And is that it, or is there still more to this train
Oh, there's
wreck?
a whole bunch more I could add, but that would probably eat up way too much time for other subjects that we've got to cover tonight.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So I guess we'll move on. And well, unfortunately, it's another piece of Warner Brothers stuff that's apparently been recently going around on the it's going around on the internet.
Yes,
Uh,
I hear that YouTubers are getting slammed for by Warner Brothers for some reason. Care to elaborate on that?
there is a specific YouTuber who is a pretty well known Mortal Kombat modder in the community. I'm sure you've
Hmm.
heard of Toasted Shoes, who is a YouTuber showcases Mortal Kombat 1 mods, right?
I may have heard the name in passing. Yes.
Well, apparently, it's through something he said on Twitter. I refuse to call it X for obvious reasons.
Here, here.
Apparently, the publisher of well, Warner Brothers of Mortal Kombat has apparently they've issued a notice of intellectual property infringement.
Wow.
But
Okay, this
there's
is
so many mod videos on the internet. Like, why target this one guy?
yeah, that makes no sense to me. And honestly, this just goes back to that one discussion that we had like eons, like months ago, where we talked about like how you have to kind of keep the buying community alive to keep your game alive at to some degree. So this is just another step in the wrong direction for Warner Brothers just to kind of kill their community,
Ugh. Yeah, but it's Warner Brothers following Bandai Namco in its footsteps, I guess, in that direction.
which is unfortunate. So yeah, our thoughts go out to that guy and other YouTubers that might be caught in the crosshairs. We wish you guys all the best, and hopefully Warner Brothers just gets their act together because this is just sad, honestly.
Yeah, quite so. Anyways, we're gonna step into the indie direction here. So you
Well,
mentioned
I
something's going
don't.
on with Framemakers, right?
Yes, so how's it
let's
going,
get into
fighters? This is
some
Shamar the
more
Dragon
upbeat
Fox.
news.
And
So
this is fair, ready for
in
duty.
recent days,
And
Framemakers had
yeah,
a
so
major
glad to be
update.
back on the
Well, not major
on the
update to the game
podcast.
itself,
This
but a
is
major
episode.
progress report. Let's say
We're kind of picking off
recently they
from where we
just
left off
closed
with
out
last episode.
a workshop
This is going to be
contest
19
for
B.
some new assists.
Um,
And with that, they brought in a new update, and they brought in a survey for the fans to gauge new opinions on the characters that should be in the game. Now, unfortunately, this survey has already closed down. It finished off on June 1st, but I did manage to get my thoughts in for the survey before it closed, and now I can kind of share a speculation with you guys. So essentially, what the survey covered was it asked fans who they wanted to see newly added to the game as either an assist or a main roster character, and then they also had a separate section for who fans like to see upgrade from an assist to a main roster character. Now, granted, they didn't give any guarantees that the upgrades would happen, just that it was a possibility if they got enough if they got fans being loud enough about it. So and they don't really have the results of those surveys public right now. So it's all kind of up in the air right now. But hopefully, we'll just hope that we can get some of our favorites from the assists line into the main roster line. But aside from that, the survey also covered to gauge fans' opinions on the possibility of the developers raising some money for tournaments and the like by basically doing what Aether Studios did with Ravels 2 in offering the ability to buy cosmetics for the characters. And I gotta say, like the Framemaker devs, they really put in the effort here. Like they gave a whole range as far as like what's what the fans could ask for. Like they were asking for like low res, high res, low detail, high detail costumes for all the various characters, and they even asked how much would the fans be willing to pay for these different variations of the skins. So there's definitely a lot of so they're definitely listening to their fans. They're definitely trying to really gauge on how the fans are going to accept new characters and to see how they can maybe get a good healthy tournament community up and running in the future. So that's obviously a good thing. And then aside from the survey, there was also a update. So it looks like the Watcher from Slay the Spire, who is the sixth character in the main roster, is coming soon. It looks like they are down to the home stretch with the development there. It was apparently a bit more complex of a character design than they expected, so that's why it's been taking a while for those of you who've been following Frame Makers for a while now. But yes, they are in the home stretch for the development on the Watchers, so you can look forward to seeing them soon. And while they have not been named, character number 7 of the first of the 10 main starting roster characters is apparently well in the works. I don't know when the update didn't say when we might get a tidbit on like who the seventh character would be, but it sounds like they'll probably be getting to like deep into the work on that character in the near future. So we can probably we should probably all keep an eye out for news coming down the pipeline pretty soon. But yeah,
Though,
that
oh, my apologies,
no
but
no, go ahead, go ahead.
though I have to say it makes me a little curious what the community had its opinions on who should be added.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, like I think at this point it's like obviously the indiescape is very large and very varied. You know, like yeah, like the different camps that kind of grew up in the indie space with different types of games. So it's honestly hard to say like exactly who will we add in later on. Like especially since we got such a varied mix already. Like they got so many unique characters that I've never heard of. Like heck, they even got the tank man from the Newgrounds site on as an assist trophy. So or as an assist character. So it's really anyone's guess as to like what the fans really want in terms of the characters. All I can say is that we can probably take a good guess at like who they want upgrade from assist character to mainline character. Like I know that Leah from Crosscode is in there, and she's a pretty popular indie character, one of my favorites as well. So I like when I was taking the survey, I was definitely voting for her to get bumped up to mainline character. Um, there's also some other Slay the Spire characters in there that could be asked to get bumped up, and I can't remember the rest of the roster off the top of my head. I know there were some more Aether characters that might be bumped up, although if you did more of those guys, it would just be kind of a spin off of Aether, and that's really not what they want to go for. So they might probably keep those guys back to the assist character slots. But like and we don't really even have all the character slots filled yet. Like we still have like a third of them to fill up. So yeah, so it's kind of hard to say like of what the fans really wants yet or what the devs are going to end up doing because it's just they're really just trying to try and gauge things right now. And like I said, we don't have the results of the surveys public right now, so it's really anyone's guess.
Before we go on to the next topic, what
Yep.
what did you pick in the survey?
Hmm.
Just to get my just to get see what one of our own thinks of who should be in the game.
Excellent question. So, I can't remember exactly who I picked because they gave like five slots to choose from. So I can't remember aside from Leah, I can't remember who I picked for to bump up from assist to mainline character. But I do remember most of the characters that I picked for the ones I wanted to see that were newcomers to the game. I can tell you right now, I definitely want Shovel Knight in there because duh, he's kind of like the he's basically the Mario of indie games at this point. Aside from him, I also wanted to see Lilac from Freedom Plant. She's basically the Sonic of the Indiescape, and I love her games. I cannot wait until I'm able to get Freedom Plant on the Switch. So I'm looking forward to seeing her, and if it would be great if they could add her in. Um, and let's see, who else did I put in? The Oh yeah, I also put in Kai, who is the main character of Gravity Circuit. It's he's basically like a Mega Man's type character, basically Mega Man with a hook shot essentially. Um, but yeah, I played through the entirety of his game, and he's a really cool character. Like I think he would be perfect for a platform fighter. And I can't remember my last place, but I do remember my fourth place one being Zagreus from Hades because come on, it's Hades. Like it's one of the biggest, like most successful indie games of all time. Like how can you not have a Super Giants character in the roster?
An interesting selection. Um, yeah, I have to say you've got a very nice assortment of characters there.
Thank you.
Now, what was next on the list?
Moving on from Filmmaker News, we are back into the AAA space with some Street Fighter news. So, as many of our Street Fighter fans probably know by now, Street Fighter Six recently came out with a new interesting new game sort of mode. In they have a giant boss named Shin Akuma in the hub world, who you can face in a more regular size in a CPU match, and essentially it's a it's basically just a beefed up boss battle, like a challenge phase essentially. And I don't know about you, Pharaoh, but from from the gameplay that I've seen of players trying to take this Shimakuma boss on, it is very difficult. Like Shin Makuma does not pull any punches, and I have seen him get many perfects on many players in the YouTube space.
No, I haven't exactly seen all that much, but I have heard quite a bit about him. Yeah, and he is apparently a really tough boss or something.
Yeah, he is definitely a real tough customer. Like he will not give you a moment to breathe, and he is like from what I've seen of him, he is incredibly gifted in terms of whiff punish, sorry, whiff punishing. And honestly, I he is an actual demon. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's like the closest they've ever gotten to really um, embodying Akuma's demon side. And now, and the cool thing is that the players can actually get him for themselves. I believe Wolf gave us a tip in our notes beforehand. Apparently, you can unlock Shinakuma by holding down while you taunt. So yeah, if you want to get a Shinakuma for yourself and you haven't already, like that's the way to get it, apparently. But yeah, like Shinakuma is definitely, I would say, a good test of skill for any Street Fighter player.
Hmm. So you can simply just unlock him by holding down while taunting. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird. Like I thought it would be like a whole like you have to defeat Shinakuma first before you actually can play as him, but no. Apparently, you can just do down and taunts, and then you can unlock him.
Huh. So that's more of a costume for Akuma, right?
I believe so. I'm actually not sure about the specifics of what that entails. Like, I'm not sure if you get if it's like just a costume change for Akuma or if it's like an actual different character where like it's a beefed up version of Akuma where you get like just a bunch of stat buffs. But either way, like even if it is just cosmetics, like it looks cool. Like it's definitely something that fans would definitely would likely want.
Yeah, I would definitely 100% agree with that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all the news we have for today?
I believe that is all the news we have. So, well, actually, I guess our indie spotlight is kind of semi-news based. For those of you who may have been following recently, um, the indie game made by a solo developer, I might add, and props to this guy for coming through with this game. Just recently, in the last week or so, at the time of this recording, we recently got the early access release of Arcus Chroma. Now, Pharaoh, you and I actually spent the afternoon today playing Arcus Chroma for the first time, and getting kind of a sense of the game. Um, so before I jump into our opinions of the game, I'm just going to preface this by for those of you who do not know about this game, it is essentially a pixel art game made by one guy. Um, it's got currently 10 characters in the main roster, but according to a YouTuber that I watched recently, who actually had a talk with the developer, the YouTuber was Mike Levesque, who runs the channel The Digital Basement. Apparently, there are currently some character models for new characters aside from the main 10 right now, so we can look forward to an expanded roster in the future. But anyway,
Fantastic.
but
Fantastic.
yes, I know you were kind of talking about that, Pharaoh. How you were how we were talking like how 10 characters in a main roster is good, but not overly healthy. Um, but yeah, so never fear that there are more going in the pipeline, and so the main gimmick of this game is basically one, you cannot jump, and secondly, instead like to kind of replace jumping in a sense, it all comes down to counters and dodges. So you have your light, middle, and heavy attacks. Then your X button, if you're playing on a PlayStation controller, is essentially it's basically your parry button. So you can time that to an opponent attack when you're in neutral, or if you're pressing a direction while you press the dodge attack, you can essentially dodge and switch to the other side of your opponent, which is basically like really changed up the whole it really changed up the whole way of how we think about fighting games now, because like the whole point of most fighting game characters is to get your opponent in the corner. And so this mechanic just totally levels the playing field there and allows anyone to basically like flip the script on their opponent if they're stuck in the corner. So honestly, like this is just a really big innovation in my opinion. But yeah, so that's basically like the gist of Arcus Chroma. It's a very stylish game, very street art ish, very neon style game. So Pharaoh, give me your opinions. You played through a number of the characters. What did you think of the game?
I definitely had to say it was something I kind of have to get used to, because jumping is pretty much a staple.
Yes,
Yeah.
and to be fair, like you are more of a platform fighter. Your fighting experience basically amounts to Smash Bros. And Tekken at this point.
Yeah,
So
Smash Bros. A
two
little bit of Smash Bros. A little bit of Tekken, but
yeah, so 2D fighters is not necessarily your forte, but from what I did see when you were streaming your gameplay before I booted up my game, it looked like you were handling yourself pretty well for your first time with this game.
yeah, I still kind of have to get the hang around the system, but I have to say some of the characters in this game are definitely better than others, hands down.
Yes, yeah, I would agree with you there. Like I think for me, definitely one of my favorite characters is Kern. Kern is to me like just a rushdown god, and I'm definitely going to be using him as one of my mains in this game. I know that you weren't really a big fan of him.
No,
I guess maybe you're just not a rushdown kind of guy, so maybe
no,
you might
not really.
yeah, so maybe you might have a little more or a little more luck with some zoners or footsie characters.
Of course.
But yeah, so I tried Kern. I tried Genko was also pretty good. He seems to be the Shota of the game, um, as well as I tried what's her name Zyva, the sword wielding fox girl. She was pretty fun to play as. And Hitboxer I think is going to be like the main entry character for newcomers who aren't really familiar with the fighting in game franchise with fighting games in general because
Hmm.
oh my gosh, Hitboxer was just a absolute beast. Like really good at throwing rapid punches, really good with just rushing down opponents, and like really solid combo potential. Um, yeah, so those were my main picks. I think that I'm gonna go with for this game. Like from the other ones I saw, I'm trying to remember his name. What's that one character that you really like? The fraud guy that had the samurai
Uh,
sword.
I can't remember his name off their name. I don't remember off the top of my head.
It started with an M. Like I think it was like Marmu or something like that.
Uh, Darn, I don't remember. But
But yeah, I also tried him, and he was okay. Same with CL. Like she
Murmo,
was
that's the name.
yes, Murmo. Murmo, that was it. Yeah. So yeah, I tried Murmo and I also tried CL. Like those two are decent zoners. I like them, but I'm not sure if they would be my forte. And then I also tried Nosferatu, who I guess is some sort of sorcerer or something like that. I don't think I mesh well with him because I like he is very like he's not really much of a rushdown character, but his attacks are very close range unless you like get his heavy out, and then he's kind of like a mid range. Like I'm not sure. He didn't really feel that too good to me. Um, but what about you? I think you had some alternate opinions to mine when
Yeah,
you were playing your
yeah.
characters.
Your Nosferatu opinion, I have to disagree with. I had some pretty good luck with him. So, but I do agree that he is probably more of a close ranger, and then maybe with his strong attack at best mid range.
Yeah, I think I would toss him to being a footsie character. Honestly, like he definitely has the footsie vibe going on.
And then I would have to say the other one I'm very pleased with is Manta.
Oh
Now,
yeah, I do remember trying Manta too, and he's pretty decent. Like how do you feel to you? Like I thought he like yeah he is a bit slow. Like he is definitely giving off that big body character energy,
mhm.
but he definitely hits hard.
Yeah, like definitely compared to the others, he definitely may not be as quick, but he certainly hits a fair bit harder.
Right. And
At least from
then
what we've played so far.
yeah, and then who else did you play in your play session?
I have also played as Genko, and yeah, I think Genko is a pretty solid. It's just an overall solid character.
Yeah, solid show, like all rounder kind of character. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I
just like
agree.
that.
And then I think you also did play Murmo, right?
Yes, I have played Murmo. Murmo is fantastic for going through a long chain of combos,
Yeah.
since
See,
it can attack
yeah,
so quickly.
he is definitely a fast zoner for sure. And I believe you have an alternate opinion to mine on Kern.
Yeah, that may have changed after a couple other matches against Kern. Kern was definitely a lot more difficult the later matches, but I did
Hmm.
play one match against Kern, and I nearly was able to get a perfect KO in a single round.
But did you play us in? That's the question.
I did, and I struggled.
Hmm.
I,
Yeah, I think at this point, Pharaoh, I think we have to dub you not a rushdown
no,
kind of
I don't
guy.
think I'd be that.
Yeah, I think if I was trying to gauge your play style, I'd say you are probably a zoner.
Maybe, maybe. I could also be up close. You never know.
Rushdowns, yeah, maybe. Like I mean, Kern is pretty aggressive in terms of rushdown characters. There are other rushdown subcategories that aren't as aggressive. So maybe who knows? We'll just have to get you playing more fighting games and we'll see what you eventually peter out to.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe once all these new characters join the roster, I think we'll maybe do explore that a little bit better.
Yes. Honestly, like that little tidbit was just kind of a hint that they got dropped in that one stream of Mike's stream. So we don't know. Like honestly, like all we know is that the character designs are currently in development, and we're not quite sure at this point how they're going to play. All we really know is that there are going to be new characters coming out at some point. Again, really don't know who, where, when they're going to show, but they are coming. So yeah, so we'll keep our eyes out, and once these new characters drop, we'll definitely get our hands on them, and we'll do some more labbing with them.
Oh, and I can't wait.
Yeah, the one caveat I have with this game, honestly, is the fact that that it's all offline. Like, there's no online mode. But weirdly enough, I did see another YouTuber actually play what looked to be an online in a match against a friend of his. So I'm not sure if the offline only thing is really a thing anymore. I'm wondering if it might be Steam's like remote local play thing.
Yeah, I did notice it did have Steam's remote local play.
Yeah.
That, and you can also play with two people on the same computer, which is also
Yeah.
a fantastic option. Say if you got a friend over and you want to play a fighting game, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe this might be like a very Steam exclusive kind of fighting game, but who knows? Again, like this is one guy doing the entire development as far as we know. So the fact that he's got like a really tight fighting game with 10 unique characters already, I think that's pretty admirable. And who knows? Like maybe down the line he might get some decent netcodes where he can actually do online play. So we'll have to keep our eyes open and just follow this guy and see how things go going forward with Arcus Chroma.
Of course. Now, shall we go for our discussion topic?
Yes, so this is one that kind of came to me more recently. I was watching some other YouTuber. I can't remember his name right now, but he was basically doing a top 10 ranking of characters in fighting games that had healing abilities. So I kind of wanted to get some opinions on our thoughts on healing characters in fighting games. Pharaoh, what do you think of having a character that's either primarily or just happens to have a super move that has healing abilities?
Okay, if I'm gonna be completely honest, it's kind of like having something like that is kind of like giving the finger to the other player, like, oh, you can't heal your health, but look at me. I think it's in a way, it's sort of kind of a taunt. At least in my opinion, it's sort of a taunty character.
I mean that like just based off of the context that I gave you so far, like it is like that is a decent like that is a valid point. But I will say that a lot of the characters that were featured in that video that I saw, they were kind of glass cans. Like they were very low health characters. So I think the fact, I think that's just more of a way to balance out the playing field. Like like if you have a character that can be knocked out in one combo, having the ability to heal is kind of like a real game changer that can allow that player playing that character to stay in longer and have a better chance of winning.
Yeah, it's more of like glass cannons in a whole assortment of games. Does not exclusive to fighting games. You kind of need that healing factor to keep them in. Because
Yeah.
yeah, glass cannons. It's pretty well known. They're fragile, but they can hit
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, but of course the only problem I really have with some of these abilities in fighting games, like some of them are basically super moves that basically just like one shot heal, like, and maybe do like 20%, or if you're like say Dark Phoenix from the Marvel vs. Capcom games, who can basically like just shoot up to 100% health and then just slowly drain away like as you fight. Like sure, that's one thing, but there are other characters such as like one example that I saw in that video was Cyborg from the Injustice series. He has a healing ability, but unfortunately, the startup time for that healing ability is so long that it's kind of abysmal in terms of usability in combat. To quote Piccolo from Team Four Star or Dragon Ball Z Abridged, it's kind of like having a huge startup time aim before an attack, and in this case, it's a huge startup time aim for an ability use, and the only time when it's actually viable is when you really knock down your opponent at the other side of the screen from you, and you have those few seconds to get the startup time to actually use the ability. So I'm honestly not a big fan of that whole idea of a healing move.
There is another way to have it interpreted, if I'm going to say so. Uh,
And what would that be?
how about if you're going to interpret healing, why not have your I'm kind of referencing the Pokemon move Pain Split, where you kind of when you use it, your HP between you and your opponent is shared. So it's like, say if yours is really low and theirs is really high, it'll split it and even it out.
Oh,
But
that's actually an interesting mechanic that could be
sort of
used.
like basically, if you're going to attack, it's sort of like life steal. So if when you
Okay, but
damage your opponent, it heals you for like a half of it or something.
yeah, like that, like I was gonna mention that also. Like lifesteal is definitely a possibility for a healing mechanic that doesn't really take that much time to do, and can still be not so cheap in the long run.
Yeah, at least make it like a super or something like that. You can't just have it easy to access all willy nilly like that.
Yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, but like as far as you think, Pharaoh, would you like to see like more characters in like more glass cannons in fighting games get healing abilities, or are you thinking like it should be like down to player skill to keep the characters alive for as long as possible?
Uh, if I were to put it, it should be a bit of a mix of both. Like you should be able to have players' skill, but who's to say I'm not going to say no to a healing move once in a while?
Fair. Yeah, yeah, I think I'm in the same camp where it's a bit of a gray area, and like we should have a balance of glass cans who can both heal, but also like to have the tools to stay alive just by their own dodge ability, or sorry, evasion ability.
Right.
All right,
And
all right.
that leaves us with our dream rosters.
Yes, moving on to our dream rosters. So, Pharaoh, you had a. I'm just gonna say it. I think I found yours to be the most disturbing dream roster I think we've had on the show yet. Like, okay, so help explain that to the audience, like what your dream roster is, because like you gave me examples, but I'm not sure that I still understand quite what you're getting in here
All right,
with
all
your
right.
with like with your whole roster selection here.
All right, so if I were to say it's not really much of a roster per se, it's more of like you have an extra character or an extra couple of characters for like DLC selections. But I am assuming you have seen the ASMR section of YouTube, right?
Uh, yeah, I have
or at least heard of
touched
it.
it.
Yeah.
I have heard of it and I have touched a couple of videos. I can't say I really watched anything per se, but I have touched into that area of YouTube. Yes, so I know the gist of it essentially. I have not really partaken in it myself because um, I honestly do not get the real appeal of it, but I get the whole gist and why people would go to those videos.
Yes, understandable. Now, there is a specific subset in this section that, for some reason, has to do with Indian barbers. And I'm gonna be honest, some of the shit, some of the little massage techniques I've seen, because yes, I've looked at it before. It's both fascinating and disturbing at the very same time.
I will agree with you on the disturbing part. Like honestly, I saw like you showed me a video of like a 16-minute long video of this ASMR subgenre, and honestly, I felt so uncomfortable like just within the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's like you could probably use some of these massage techniques as maybe like special moves in Mortal Kombat. It really would make a lot of sense to have one of these Indian barbers just literally fight in Mortal Kombat. You can't tell me this wouldn't it wouldn't just fit,
Honestly,
albeit
like
really oddly.
yeah, like honestly, I'm not sure I can see these guys in like the modern games, but if you brought it back to like the old arcade classic Mortal Kombat games where you had like the more absurd stuff going on,
Oh, definitely.
like like the toasty guy and the friendship endings, like all the funky stuff like that, I could definitely see like a motion capture Indian barber being like a joke character in those games.
Oh yeah, they definitely had to be the joke character, but probably not a joke character you should laugh at for too long.
Yeah, no, I would not be laughing if I saw one of those guys on screen. I would be shaking my boots and I would be like charging up all the Hadoukens I can get my hands on.
Though admittedly, I wonder if it's nice.
There is that weird curiosity, isn't there?
Yes, there is a very strange curiosity.
Yeah, like you look at these guys and you look at and how they touch other guys. I know that sounds weird, but
Yeah, that did sound very
yeah,
strange.
but basically they do their massage techniques on the guys, and like you look at how they touch the heads, and you're like, oh, this is kind of weird, but also I kind of wonder how that would feel in my head.
Yeah.
So so yeah, it's definitely a weird side of the ASMR space.
But it had to be covered
Yes, it definitely
eventually.
has to be covered. You are Joey the Maverick of our group, so you always do bring in the weird and obscure stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which we do appreciate.
That's what I'm here for. Anyways, what did you bring to the table this week?
So I kind of fell back on Wolf's kind of trend. Not with food, mind you. I am not doing a whole food thing. Instead, my dream roster this time is I'm gonna kind of take us back to the old uh old mid 2000s, early 2010s era of YouTube where you had like those um where you had like a bunch of those animations where you had all the desktop icons kind of duking it out in a video. I'm kind of bringing us back to that whole era, and I'm gonna say my dream roster is going to be for browser based mascots and icons. So for example, you would have like say you could have some guy rocking the Safari compass, or you could have the fox from Firefox, or say someone sport like a mascot sporting the E from Internet Explorer, you know, stuff like that. Like just a whole bunch of browser icons and mascots just showing
Yeah,
up
I can see
and
that.
just seeing who is the superior browser. I think the number of browsers out there have expanded over the years, so I think we have a good decent roster to work with here.
Yeah, then again, it could also be nostalgia. Like you could have some older ones, let's say like Netscape Navigator, which was around in the 90s.
Oh yeah, that was definitely one that would definitely be put in for kind of a throwback idea.
Funnily enough, you can still use it.
Really?
Yeah, sure, the version was hasn't been updated since 2009, but it's still perfectly usable.
Huh? Like on the more modern OS systems
It
still?
may have issues here and there, but it should still be usable.
Huh? Interesting. Yeah. I guess yeah. I guess I would definitely put Netscape in my roster then. That that sounds pretty cool.
But yes, of course,
Um,
it's like the appeal of all the old stuff. Because the older icons just honestly looked better. I don't
they
know.
did like they definitely had a lot more flair to them than the ones we get nowadays.
Yeah, it's all simple. Why not have a little more? Be a little adventurous and a bit more fun.
I know, like Google Chrome, like oh my gosh, how much more basic can you get than just a circle with colors? Like, come on.
I don't think that's changed in a very long time.
No, it is not. But honestly, they could do honestly just do better in terms of the design for that browser icon.
Agreed.
But yeah, so I would definitely say browser icons and maybe also some just general desktop icons, like maybe like a floppy disk for saves, a trash can, file folder, just fun stuff like that.
I can definitely see that would be a very interesting setup. Jeez.
And then if you also threw in like some characters representing malware and stuff like that, like trying to hack into the browsers, like I think there's definitely a good possibility for like a decent campaign story here too.
Oh yeah, actually yes, that could be like was it Bonsai Buddy or something like that was one of them. I think that's the name. It was a purple
Yeah,
gorilla. It was a purple gorilla. I know that much.
can't say I know that one myself, but yeah, like stuff like that. I think it would make a pretty cool game.
Yes, viruses as a boss. Actually, that would be very interesting.
Actually, yeah, that does make a lot more sense.
Are
Like,
you trying to have it whereas the icons are kind of acting in place of the security software?
I guess actually that brings up a whole new idea, like VPNs versus viruses. Like
Yeah,
like
it
seriously,
does.
like seriously, like having like icons like NordVPN fighting against like an actual Trojan horse. Like honestly, that would be funny. Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I can actually. Yeah, I would pay money to play this. That looks like sounds like fun.
Well, there you go, everyone. You got two ideas for the price of one this time around for the Stream roster.
And well, that worked out for the better now, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Cool, cool. Anyway, I think we're running low on time, so we will wrap it up here. So yeah, I'm Shamaro,
And I'm Pharaoh. Thanks for
and
watching,
again,
everybody.
yes, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we are sad that Wolf wasn't here to join us, but he should hopefully be back next week. And until then, fight on, and keep cool, keep it real, and for all of us at KINC here at the Shooting the Fighters podcast, we wish you all the best.
Yep.
See you next time.
Always fight on. See you later.